Shadowdark Combat. The feel of the game is supposed to be OSR meets 5e, satisfying that old school gamer who wants a more streamlined experience. But is this how it actually feels when you play? Well, we've got a rogue, or a thief, I apologize. We've got a thief, a priest, a fighter, and a wizard, and they are in an ambush, a pretty bad predicament. I've played out the whole scenario to answer this question. How does Shadowdark play? Is there crunch? Is there an expected solution? Is it very open-ended? Let's find out who lives and who dies, and then decide if the game lives up to its billing. Everyone, welcome to Jface Games, where we explore games to see what we like about them in order to design our own game. Apologies in advance for the audio. This microphone was unfortunately off during the recording. Alright, so here is the lay of the land. What is happening to our heroes? Well, let me give you an idea of what this place is. Alright, over here, this is high ground, and this is a waterfall. On this waterfall are two little goblin archers. There's a staircase that leads down, which the wizard is on. Down here, this is all low ground. It's a death pit, right? This is a trap that was laid for our heroes, and so this area, the cleric and the fighter are down here surrounded by skeletons. There is a wall of vines that leads up to more high ground. Up here there are two more goblins. The rogue had already climbed up. And then over here we have what looks like some sort of summoner and looks like some sort of caster. That is our starting location. Now the way initiative works in this game is usually the GM goes first and you just go around the table and every player gets a turn. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to have these goblins go first. Well, I'll tell you what. This is what's going to happen. This caster over here, this sort of caster, I'm going to set a timer. Oh, Lord, that's going to be fast. That in 2 rounds, this is going to fill up with water. You see this caster start using their hands, and this waterfall starts to speed up, and this starts to fill. They've got 2 rounds to get out from underneath here. Okay? So that's what this person's doing. That's their turn. This individual, I'm going to say, just summon these skeletons. So we're going to have the goblins go ahead and attack. These 4 goblins are going to attack. These 2 aren't seeing the wizard. The wizard is on the steps. These guys jump out. They see this killing field. They're going to shoot down here at the cleric. The cleric, or priest in this system, has an AC of 15. These goblins have a short bow. They do 1 attack plus 1. And one of the goblins actually hits. The goblin hits for D4 damage, which does 1 damage. And our priest is now looking hurt. They are actually 2nd level characters that I decided to roll with. And so this cleric, or this priest, has now about 4 hit points. That is these 2 goblins. These 2 goblins are going to now go against our rogue. They have clubs, and these clubs don't have any pluses to their attack, and they're going to attack this thief. Sorry, it's a thief in this system, who has an 18, or has a 14 AC. Unfortunately for this thief, they get to hit twice, once for 3 and once for 2. The thief is now at 2 hit points. He is dying very badly. Now we have all these skeletons down here. Remember, this is grimdark. This is not necessarily grimdark, but it's OSR, so this could be bad. I'd set up an encounter more so for what I would do in my heroic style games, so we'll see what happens. These skeletons have a +1 to their short sword attack, and they're attacking our fighter. And our fighter has an AC of 12, so that could be a problem, but we'll find out what happens. The fighter takes 2 damage as one of the skeletons they will hit. We'll say this one hits. Alright, so now that leads us to the players' turns. So the players are now, technically it would go around the table in initiative order. So we'll say we'll say fighter, rogue, cleric, wizard is their order. The fighter is kind of hairy down here. I think you could do, so here's the thing about Shadowdark, showing my age. Shadowdark is a little bit more of a game designed around, I would say that it's not highly tactical, but it's highly thematic, and it's got good math, right? So it's much more about what do you want to do? Like, how do you want to do this sort of thing? I'm going to say that this rogue is calling for help. He's in trouble, or this thief. Because they're not designed in this system to take a lot of hits and do a lot of damage, or they're not going to be doing spike damage, for instance. So the fighter is going to try to help out his rogue as much as he can. He's going to hope that these guys can do what they need to do. So he's going to attack one of these guys to try and make a path, in essence, right? He's going to attack one of these guys and try and make a path. He gets a +5 to hit. He hits. He is going to do a lot of damage. These skeletons have 11 hit points, but he hit for 12, so he actually kills the skeleton. Look at that. Kills the skeleton right off the bat. What is he going to do? How's he going to get up there to help them? Let's say they coordinate something, right? So we have these stalactites here. I would allow, so if my players came up with something crazy, right? Crazy thematic to do, I would allow it. And so let's say, and so I don't know if this is in the bounds of Shadowdark, but let's just see what you would do, right? So I would say that the fighter runs here, and you can run 30 feet roughly in this system, and you can split it up. And I want to say that one of these vines, the thief grabs the vine and tries to tie it around the goblin and push the goblin, right? So what he's trying to do, in essence, is create a this one's going down, this guy's coming up sort of scenario. Now, the other thing he could do is maybe the rogue could just grab the vine and jump, and then it pulls the rogue and the fighter switch spots, and that would be cool. But let's see how you would do that in this system. So he's going to try and tie it around there. I would assume that it's an opposed, maybe it's an opposed dex save, because I would say that the rogue is trying to quickly wrap around this sort of like noose of sorts around the goblin. So maybe it's just quickness. So let's do an opposed dex save. Our goblin has a +1 dex. Our thief has a +3 dex. And the thief wins. So the thief gets a 21, the goblin gets a 12. I'm going to say that this is his whole turn, but he comes over here, he quickly throws around, pushes him, and he zips up. Now, he's going to take falling damage. We'll say it's 10 feet, so he takes a d6 falling damage. So he takes 6 damage. Goblins have 5 hit points. He smashes. All right, well, that changes the lay of the land. That's their turn also. So now we have over here, let's go ahead and have the priest go. The priest is going to do a spell, maybe Shield of Faith. So he's going to cast Shield of Faith, which is a first level spell. So he's got to roll a d10, it is a d20 +2, and he's trying to get over 11. He does not succeed. What does that mean? The spell does not take effect, and you can't cast that spell again. So that's his turn. He just wasted his spell, or he wasted his action. But he could move, and let's say he runs over here because he's going to try and help. He's going to try and get up there best he can. Maybe he can take some cover in the vines a little bit from these guys, but the water's starting to fill, and he wants to get out of there. The wizard, it's a wizard. The wizard is going to cast. I'm going to cast Sleep. And so Sleep is a nearby cube. Level 0 to 3 creatures in that cube will fall asleep. So this is a first level spell. This wizard gets spellcasting +5, which is crazy. So they're going to do a d20 +5, and they have to beat an 11. And they succeed. They get a 23 in essence. So what does that spell do? Well, what ends up happening is that when this wizard casts Sleep, instantly this cube, he sets a cube over here, these goblins are both below level 2, they're level 1, and he succeeded at his check. There's no save, they're asleep. So these two are asleep. I'm just going to flip them over like this. Meow, meow. Asleep. Then the wizard is going to run over here. So now, this is not bad. We got 2 down over here sleeping. These skeletons have to do something. They're probably going to come after these guys, which is a problem for this wizard. The fighter's up here now, and we got to figure out what these guys do. This guy's now doing his thing. All right, so now the bad guys are going to go. We're going to change this timer now, and it's going to drop down to 1. So there's one more round. This water's going to complete. This zone is going to completely fill up with water. So it's probably about knee-high now. So maybe these guys are a little slowed down. There's no conditions in this game, so it's all just sort of thematic. Maybe that water is making them slower. Maybe the water is giving them disadvantage on abilities. I'd say they're just a little slower, but they can still get here. And so what we're going to do is this guy's still casting. This guy is going to start summoning. So you're going to see a skeleton coming out of the water again over here because it starts to summon up. But let's see what everyone else is doing. We're going to have this skeleton run over here, this skeleton run over here. They're both going to attack. Here's going to attack over here. That's a hit. Our wizard has not been hit yet. Our wizard does not have a lot of hit points, and skeletons hit pretty good. The skeleton hits for 1, thank God, because otherwise this wizard might have been instant-gamed. The priest is getting attacked. He did not get his Shield of Faith up. but he has an AC of 15, so this priest is perfectly fine. Hit for 1 damage, priest, not so good. This rogue is going to attack this, or this goblin is going to attack this fighter. That's a 17, that's a hit. This is D4 damage. Fighter has not been hit yet, so, ooh, it's 4 damage. No, the fighter was hit earlier. Nope, the fighter was not hit yet. So that's 4 damage. And so now the fighter is looking really bad. The fighter does not have a lot of hit points. The fighter only has 7 hit points. So that's 3 hit points left. Not good. This guy's summoning. This guy's trying to get that spell off, but he's probably going to break this spell if these guys come up. So we're going to see what happens. Now, we said that the first person that goes is the rogue. So the rogue's going to come over here and try and attack this guy. I'm going to just say, I'm just going to go ahead and say this is, I'm going to give them the stats of a goblin shaman, because it's kind of a casting person who's summoned, even though it's a necromancer. So they have a lot of hit points. We'll see how that goes. Well, no, that's a level 4 individual. That might be a little brutal for these guys. So let's find a level 2 sort of acolyte. Give me a second. Perfect. I found a level 2 cultist, so this is going to be a level 2 cultist now. Now the level 2 cultist has chainmail on and a shield, so they've got AC of 14. Our thief, on the other hand, is attacking with their... they're going to try and backstab, which gives them +1 dive damage against an unaware creature. We're going to say this person is focused over here. The thief was here. Could the thief technically come around behind and get into some sort of backstabbing position? I guess I could have them make a check to see if they can successfully do that, like a dex check, like a hiding type thing. And that's a 20, so yeah, we'll say they get over here. They're going to now attack. They need to get they get a +3 melee, and so they've got to get a 11 or higher. That's a 16. That's a successful hit, and with a 16, now they can do double damage, which would be 2d4. They do 6 damage, and this guy has 9 hit points, so he's still alive. So this guy's 3 hit points. This guy's 3 hit points. This guy is 2 hit points. He's fine. He's got like 4 still. Full health. This guy's nasty. Alright. Rogue is done. Bludgeon this guy. Here we have the fighter's going to go. Fighter's going to obliterate this goblin. Goblin gone. The cleric probably, or the priest probably has a turn undead ability. So yeah. Undead near charisma, undead near a charisma versus spellcasting check. Flee if failed. Death if failed by 10+. Alright, so yeah, why didn't this priest finally goes, wait a minute, I'm really good against these things. Okay, and this one's up now. They're going to make a spellcasting check. They have to get a spellcasting check would be a +2, d20 +2 against a... That is a 17 versus 11, so it doesn't kill them, but all these skeletons start to flee. I think they'd flee on their turn, but I'm just going to make them flee now. The wizard is now going to climb up. Am I going to make the wizard make a check to climb vines? He's weak. No, you know what? They're adventurers. I'm going to say he can climb up. There's enough thick vines they can climb up, but that's the entire action. The priest is also going to start climbing. Probably can't get up there. Well, no. Forget it. They get up there. Am I too forgiving of a DM? Maybe. Should they be able to get up there that quickly? I don't know. You guys let me know. All right, this guy is no longer going to be concentrating. They're going to now actually try to attack. And these are cultists. We're going to say this is a cultist as well, some sort of casting cultist. So it probably shouldn't have the chainmail AC, but that's okay. And they're going to use a spell. They're going to use Death Touch. All right, so this person's going to do a Death Touch. DC 12. This guy rolls a 12, and he needed to get a 12. So he's going to now do 2d4 damage to our wizard, who only has 4 hit points, I believe it was. We have a wizard down. All right, the wizard gets blasted with a Death Touch. They are down at the moment. They are down. And what we do now is we're going to roll this d4 here and see how many rounds until they're actually dead. 2 rounds. So we're going to put that 2 right on top. So in 2 rounds, that character is dead. It's not just 2 rounds, though. It's 2 rounds plus your con. Oh, I was just checking to see if this wizard had a -1 con. They don't. They have a +0. Congratulations, wizards. All right. So out for 2 rounds. Now we have that guy went. This guy's going to turn around and do something to this We can do a death touch again. So they're going to try and do a death touch. They have to get above a 12. They do not get above a 12 in their d20, so they've lost the ability to cast that spell, because spell casting is the exact same for them as it is for the other people. So now, hopefully, it's cleanup. We'll have this guy go. But I don't know. I don't know how this game kind of works. But we'll have the thief go first, going to attack here. The thief misses. They're going to move to get range because they don't do the up closey close. We're now going to have the fighter move up and over. The fighter's going to attack here. The fighter is very good at the up close and rangey range, doing 8 damage. That's dead cultist. The fighter's going to continue to move because they can continue to move and move over here. Does it matter? No. Is there an opportunity attack? If this guy wants to run around, can they? Yes. So I don't know if this really matters. The priest is going to... You got 2 rounds, buddy. I think you're okay. The priest is going to come over here, and the priest is just going to use their mace to slam this person in the face. And slamming, they do. That's 6 damage, people. So, 6 damage here. They're at 3 health. This guy's going to tick this down. Tick, tick, tick. They're still fleeing. Does the spell turn off? He goes down. I would assume that's concentration. Let's read out the description here. You weave a lulling spell that fills a near-sized cube extending from you. Creatures in that area of the effect fall into a deep sleep if they are level 2 or less. Vigorous shaking or being injured wakes them. Doesn't say anything about concentration. There might be concentration in a different section of the book, but it doesn't say it here, so I'll keep them asleep. We're almost done anyways. This guy's going to now, he still has his death touch because he was able to cast it before. So he's going to turn and he's going to look at these 2. This one probably just hit him for a lot of damage. I need this d4 for a moment. Whoop. Zappity zap, and now our cleric is also down. This is now getting a little problematic because the cleric's the one that was supposed to heal. I did not foresee that happening. So we're going to have the cleric is only also 1 round until they die. Things got bad quickly. Things got very bad quickly. So how do you stabilize someone? If you are close range and you succeeded in 15 DC int check, then you stop them from dying. So the rogue has to spend their turn trying to make an int check. Alright, the drama just got real, people. We thought we were cleaning up, and that death touch popped off. This rogue has an intellect of 7, so -2. They have to get a 17 or higher. That's probably not going to happen. They got a 13. Priest, I'm sorry. The fighter now, who instead was going to kill this man, now has to turn with their +1 int and hopefully save the day. Oh, that's a natural 1. Alright, the fighter tries to heal them. No dice. That ends our turn. Oh, what's his constitution? Oh, thank God. He's got a +1 constitution. We have 1 more round to save this person. But we have a problem. Because it's now this guy's turn. He's now going to turn and try and death touch our fighter. That's a fail. Rolled a 6. Can't death touch the fighter. So the fighter now, now it's our turn again. At this point in time, I think both of these characters are on their last round. So let's have this poor rogue try to save this person so that they can then heal this person. This is getting bad. You would think that they'd have a heal pot now, hopefully, but let's roll it. All right, here we go. We have to get a 17 or higher. That is not a 17 or higher. Rogue is done. The fighter now has to get a. They have +1, so they've got a 14 or higher. 14 or higher. This is all the marbles. Oh! That's a natural 20. All right, the fighter gets up the cleric. I don't know if the cleric can then heal the immediately heal, but I'm going to. So now the cleric has to roll and try to get a... I'm still buzzing off that 20. The cleric now has to try and get a 12 or higher, I believe. No, they get +2, and they have to beat an 11 in order to do clear... it's a priest, I apologize. They've got +2 to their roll, they have to get an 11 in order to do cure wounds, which is a d6 hit points. They do not succeed. Our wizard is dead. Alright, and now it is this person's turn. They no longer have, the good thing is that they no longer have death touch because that was awful. So they're just going to use their longsword and try and attack our fighter, and they do not succeed. And now the rogue's going to come over here, very upset. He's going to try and sneak attack. He misses. The fighter goes. The fighter gets a 20. Let's look at what happens when you get a 20 as a fighter. On a critical, you get to double your damage. So he rolls a 6 on his d20, or d12, that's what he's using as a weapon. The d12, then it's a 6, so it does 12 damage, plus 1. So now he's doing 13 damage. This guy only had 6 hit points. He is dead. All right, so that finishes this up. All right, so how did that feel? Well, I think I played all the rules correctly. They're streamlined. They're pretty quick rules. There's not a lot of crunch from a rules. There's not a lot of crunch in terms of rules, but is there enough game mechanics to still enjoy it? Yeah, I think it was a lot of fun. I had a blast rolling up those characters. Was there a lot going on that I was trying to manipulate and move around the board? Yes. Could I have known the rules better in advance? Probably. I probably wung it a little too much because I knew the game rules were pretty easy. I didn't use a lot of conditions. There are no conditions in the game, but I didn't use a lot of thematic situations where I was like, oh, this would give you advantage or disadvantage, and I didn't try and provoke those. I tried to have the players come up with zany little things to do and see what would happen with the rogue pushing the goblin and getting the fighter up there quick. For that, as an example, I think that's also shows that you can have those heroic swashbuckly type moments if the DM allows it very easily, just embedded into the game. It was brutal. It really was rough when the priest failed their spell and they just lost Shield of Faith and they thought they were going to be able to tank a little bit. It was really brutal. The wizard died. I probably played those characters wrong a little bit in terms of the need to get someone up immediately. I didn't know the death stabilizing until after the priest went down, so that made it a little bit of a problem. Otherwise, was it fast? Yes. That encounter was probably less than 15 minutes in actuality. Like, if I didn't have to look up rules and things like that, it was very fast. So I could see how you could get 8 encounters. They don't have to all be combat, but you can get 8 encounters in a night of playing. Could just fly by and zoom through. Where did I get the encounter itself? I went to jface.com/encounters, and I actually just generated that ambush with that zones, and that's sort of how I got the inspiration to do that. Overall, I think that it was a lot of fun. It was very fast. I can see the appeal. For those that are more tactical, who want more of a war gamey feel, you're probably not going to get that from this. You could probably add on some very simple rules if you wanted to get that, but that kind of defeats the purpose of what Shadowdark is trying to do. I apologize also if I said Shadowbane at all during this, because it's in my blood. Otherwise, hit the bell, hit the subscribe, hit the like button, and we'll talk to you next time.